we have a quorum, let's go ahead and hello everyone, welcome. Since we have a quorum, let's go ahead and call to order and get a roll call from Amber.
Chair Knight.
Present.
Committee Member Wheaton.
Present.
Committee Member Eric.
Present.
Committee Member Lemire. Camera, there it is. Committee Member Reynolds.
I'm here.
Committee Member Schwab, I just let him in, so I think he's still connecting to audio, but he's here. Committee Member Brown. Committee Member Barney.
Here.
Committee Member Castillo. Here. Committee Member Rizzo. Present. And Committee Member Hinshaw.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, for those of us in the room, let's please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Chris, would you like to lead us off? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you all very much for being here. Sorry, my screen has frozen on me here. So I would like to welcome our guests tonight from the Community Safety Program, Stacy Vu and Mary Tompkins, and turn it over to you guys to lead us in these workshops.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. My name is Stacy Vu. Can everyone see my screen okay? I'm a community safety coordinator. We work out in East Portland for the City of Portland, Office of Community and Civic Life Community Safety Program. I've been with the city for about 3.5 years in my role, and prior to that, I worked with survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault for over 11 years. I'll let Mary introduce herself before we get started.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mary Tompkins. I've been with the Office of Community and Civic Life for 15 years. Prior to coming to Civic Life, I worked at Self-Enhancement as an aftercare coordinator, and I also worked with Multnomah County Sheriff's Office in the jail as a corrections counselor and officer for 15 years. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. Thank you for having us.
So we have 3 geographical teams, Central, North, and East. Mary and I work on the East team with another colleague, Steve Witcherly, that's in this picture here. And we provide training and education. Our Neighbors Together trainings support communities to meet your neighbors, build connections, and collaborate to create safety solutions. Trainings can also be tailored for your group's specific needs. If you just want to call to talk to us, we're actually really fun to talk to and can connect you with appropriate services and resources. So the different trainings that we offer, we have personal safety workshops, prevention topics, public safety resources, pedestrian safety, implicit bias, and also how to work with youth to address safety. Another core service that we provide to residents and businesses within the City of Portland is called Crime Prevention through Environmental Design. And we use a multidisciplinary approach that relies upon a set of strategies to reduce unsafe behaviors. So some examples of that are looking at lighting, access control, gathering areas, structure, and landscaping. And today we have 2 different surveys. I'm going to put it in the chat. So one is our demographic survey, and the second one at the end of our training is our training evaluation. So it's just for us to identify how we can change our trainings to help serve and identify the communities that are underserved, and so we can determine who else we need to reach out to. And it's important for us to also to effectively evaluate what we're doing okay or things that we can improve on. So before we get started, I also wanted to go over some acknowledgements. So by default, we are all more socially isolated than we were before COVID-19, and we probably all have experienced it at some point. And especially during the last year with the pandemic. We all have different life experiences. Sorry, my mouse is not. We all have different life experiences, and you may be attending this training because you're feeling isolated. And this training is a way to break that isolation. In the past year, we've had the pandemic, wildfires, snowstorm, then power outages, and it's a great time to think about emergency preparedness. We also want to recognize that there's a lot of fear right now, unknowns, and people also may be experiencing different levels of trauma. So we want to let you know that there is hope and that we're able to connect you with appropriate resources and services and see how we can help you. As trainers, we are not mental health professionals, but we will be talking about how to connect you with mental health services. And a lot of this training has been informed by our Bureau's mental health specialists. And we also value different and diverse perspectives where everyone has meaningful access to services and resources. Even though we are your trainers, we appreciate your suggestions and inputs because we learn valuable information from you as the community members. So the Office of Community and Civic Life Community Safety Program, we organize and support partnerships to build safe communities that are connected, inclusive, and engaged. And for our presentation this evening, we're gonna start out and talk about social connections and reducing social isolation, define what it is and try to understand it, and help participants increase their awareness of social isolation and loneliness. Then we'll move on to how to organize a block party and other street events, help participants build community connections with each other, and encourage people to get to know their neighbors. And then community care and litter removal events, empower neighbors to address issues in their community. And then lastly, we'll talk about emergency preparedness, understand more about community safety and preparedness. And when you prepare for an earthquake or other natural disaster, then you're prepared for anything. So what is social isolation? How to cope with social isolation and steps you can take today and available resources. So social isolation is defined as a lack of contact with others, where people experience a lack of companionship and support. Social isolation impacts our most vulnerable communities, such as seniors, people with disabilities, people who are immunocompromised, people in recovery from substance abuse disorders, and people with limited English proficiency. So human beings are social creatures, and our connection to others enables us to survive and thrive. Many of us, as we age, are alone more often than when we were younger, and due to other life situations, this can leave us vulnerable to social isolation and loneliness. So research has linked social isolation and loneliness to higher risks of a variety of physical and mental conditions. So high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, a weakened immune system, anxiety, depression, cognitive decline, Alzheimer's disease, and even death. And fortunately, there are ways to counteract these negative effects. People who engage in meaningful, productive activities with others tend to live longer, they boost their mood, and have a sense of purpose. These activities seem to help people maintain their well-being, and it may improve cognitive function. So if everyone can answer, how are you staying connected in the chat box? How are you staying connected with your community right now? And it could be any way, if either personal or professional is fine.
So I don't think we actually have this chat box enabled in our meeting, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. if people have any, does anyone have anything to share? You can shout it out like popcorn style.
Took a Troutdale Recreation Arts class last weekend.
Great, thank you.
I'm in school, so we have Friday night happy hours sometimes, just digitally all over Zoom. So we have our mug and talk to each other. It's nice.
That's great. That sounds fun.
I attend Troutdale Advisory Committee to stay connected. Yay.
This looks like a fun group also.
My neighbors and I implemented what we call SDF, Social Distancing Fridays, where we all park in the driveway at proper distance and catch up with each other so we're not hibernating.
That's great. That's a good idea. Anyone else?
Well, I've been staying connected with some various church things.
That's great. There's a lot of, there's like church contacts and church trees that people who have faith, and they also are connected that way through their community. Okay, so we'll move on to the next. So an important piece of, I think, social isolation is how to integrate self-care. So at this time right now, people are going through a lot of difficulties, and social isolation can affect all of us. Age does not matter. It's essential that people take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. So everyone's physical and mental well-being is important. For me, we've been teleworking for about a year now, and I'm still shocked that we're in a pandemic and everything else is going on. So for me, I find myself doing more meditation, and there are lots of videos on YouTube that range from a few minutes to 30 minutes. I also bought meditation cards for my children. I have a 5 and 7-year-old, and my youngest tends to get frustrated very easily. Sometimes we think that children, they're resilient, but sometimes they're not, especially during this pandemic. And we start off our day, we have a pose that we do, like a mountain pose. And my youngest, she pretends that she's on top of the mountain, and then she blows off all of her frustrations down the mountain. And it kind of gets her grounded for the day, and she's able to blow all the frustrations down. But there's lots of ways for people to take care of themselves. The deep breathing, meditation. You can set the menu. Sometimes watching too much of something can impact you. And treat yourself, whether that's a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, maybe a milkshake, to take care of yourself. Social media detox. Some people are constantly checking their phones all the time, but that also can have an impact on us when we're always on social media. Socialize, and that doesn't mean just on social media, but like someone had mentioned, having a drive-through social event, or talking to your neighbor through the fence or the door and still be able to maintain physical distance is a great way. Moving, exercise, hydrating, getting some sleep. We've been having really nice weather, so embracing the light are also good ways. And just anything that makes you happy during this time is really, really important. So we talked about caring for yourself, and the other important piece of it is caring for others. With social isolation, it's important that you determine, caring for others is a voluntary choice of yours. And it's important to decide what you're comfortable doing and then commit to it. So do you have a neighbor that you want to check in on that's older adult, has a chronic health condition, has a disability? And then do you have their number so that you can call, text, or video chat with them? Or is it somebody that you don't know that you want to reach out to? Can you drop off a note if you don't have their contact information, or through a window or door? Connect through social media. People are using Nextdoor, Facebook groups, Zoom, church phone trees to identify vulnerable neighbors. And other doorbell devices like the Ring. I have the Ring. I'm able to connect with my neighbors through that device. And you can host a virtual training for your neighborhood with our community safety program. Also recognizing the digital divide, that most of the country, we do have internet, people do have internet to look important information up for work, health, education, and entertainment. But some people don't have internet access, especially people who are experiencing poverty and have limited financial resources. Or they may lack the skills to use technology. And there are ways that you can help. So connect people with free or low-cost internet services. Perhaps, do you have an extra laptop, tablet, or other device that you can let someone borrow? Or offer to train someone if you're really good at technology. Are you able to train someone on how to use Zoom or other video conferencing programs? And pay attention. There are ways to be observant. Do you have a neighbor or someone that you know that has their grass overgrown? Have their cars not moved? Do you see mail or packages that are stacking up that haven't been picked up? And just ask. Don't be afraid of rejections. Worst case, you feel bad. But the best case is that you're able to help someone. And we have this assessment. If you are concerned about yourself or others, the American Association of Retired Persons, AARP, has a self-assessment to find out if you are at risk. And we can put this link also in the chat. So we work out in East Portland, and we've been hearing just amazing stories of how people are helping each other. There is affordable apartment complex off of 122nd and Burnside, where there's 60 units. We have a neighbor, kind of an organizer. A lot of her neighbors were facing food insecurity when the pandemic started, and she has friends and different people that she knows that has farms, and that were able to donate a lot of canned goods. So she was able to get, I think, I want to say like 50 or 70 people with food at that site. And then there's also a lot of people who have limited English or don't know how to use the internet, and she was able to help them apply for food stamps and unemployment. And when she goes to the grocery store, she offers them, can I get medicine for you? Can I pick up something for you? So those are just some ways to help your neighbors. And I have a video that I want to play from an organization in Portland that's been helping people.
And there's many simple things that you can do to really contribute back to the community. One is obviously volunteering. Beyond that, you also have neighbors. You also have relatives. And being able to be intentional about reaching out and connecting with your neighbors is really important. Our goal is not just to deliver groceries, but also to help people age in place and to empower people to stay connected to the community.
All the groceries are not just in the bins, but they're in paper sacks, and we deliver the bins to our clients' houses and set them by the door, and we step back 6 feet.
There's some online networks like Nextdoor, but there's also the Nextdoor porch that you can knock on the door, step back so you have a safe distance, and check in on the seniors next to you. So there's lots of ways that you can actually help from your community. So if you can connect with others proactively, maybe if they truly have a need, you can then be the support to connect them with other resources in the community.
Next, I want to move on to block party organizing and other events. I have two pictures up. The picture on the left, we used to do National Night Out, but we're not doing that right now, and we're not sure. We've had a lot of program changes, and we're not sure if in the future we will continue that. But when we did have National Night Out, the picture on the left, Rosewood Initiative is a nonprofit off of 162nd and Stark. And they help a lot of different communities and with different resources and services, and also have a computer lab, and I think a legal day or something like that, where they help people with their legal issues. And at this event, they had over 1,000 people attend for their National Night Out. They had different vendors from different organizations table at their event. They had live music, free food, and it was a great event. And over here on the right, when the Gateway Discovery Park opened, it's off of 105th and Halsey, Northeast Halsey. They also had a huge grand opening, and we were present for that event. They had food carts, these like really large size games. People were really engaged, and prizes and raffles, different speakers for that event. So those are some of the things that you can organize, but it doesn't have to be a large scale like this from 500 to 1,000 people. You can organize block parties or neighborhood events in the amount of people that you would like. So it could be 5, 10 people up to 500 people. And the first thing you would do is just determine like how many people you would like to have at the party. So between 20 or less up to 500. And decide where you want to hold your party. So for the city of Portland, we're able to block off our street, and I think Gresham can too. So I'm not sure about the city of Troutdale, but blocking off your street, getting different, I think barricades, you can rent them, and then getting a permit to close your street. If you have it at a park, you can also ask the Parks and Recreation if you can reserve a space. And then register your party depending on if it is at a park or if you need your street blocked off. Next, developing a budget. A lot of these, not at these events, but the neighborhood level, people are able to organize like food and have a potluck and everybody chip in or have some way of doing that. And then sometimes when you do close off your street, you may need additional insurance or at the park, but you can check in with your city about that. And then a couple of weeks before your party, send out the save the date messages, firm up the final details and send a reminder to people because people do forget. And then if you have volunteers, there's a lot of people, if you do have events, if you post it on social media or other places, people want to volunteer. So if you do get volunteers, thank them at the end. And different people, they do different things. For example, have a welcoming table. If there are neighbors that you don't know, maybe having name tags, raffle tickets, like a meet and greet. And people play different games also. There's icebreaker games where you have 25 questions. How long have you lived in this neighborhood? What's your favorite ice cream? Things like that. Human bingo. Where did you grow up? How long have you lived in the neighborhood? And people also have different games. So water balloon, scavenger hunt, arts and crafts table. Sometimes thinking about the children, if there's events or activities for children too, so they can be engaged. And I think that's all I have. I've done a lot of talking, so I will pass this on to Mary to talk about community care and litter removal events, and also our emergency preparedness.
All righty. Thank you, Stacy. So we out in East Portland, Stacy and I, we hosted an East Portland Community Resource Fair. And we utilized this resource fair as a way to reach out to houseless individuals and folks that are low income and underserved. During this outreach, we did this over at DHS right off of 82nd and Flavel, where they were experiencing tents and houseless community members and folks that were camping on the street. And so what we did as a placemaking project, we partnered with PBOT and we partnered with DHS as well to open up that street and host that resource fair. So that's just one of the placemaking type of projects that we were able to do. And so that was something that was really well received by the community. We bought a lot of different items to hand out to houseless individuals and to individuals that needed hygiene items such as toothpaste, toothbrush, and things of that nature. And so that was a very, very successful event. We also partner with a program called Solve, and Solve is a community care and litter removal event. Solve right now, if you look in the news, you will see Solve all over the TV and all on the news because this program is really, really popular and folks are really utilizing this program to clean up their neighborhoods. This is a great way to come together as a community and as a neighborhood to clean up your neighborhood. The gentleman's name is Dan, and he will come. All you have to do is send him an email. He will call you or come out to where you live. He will bring the little pickup sticks to pick up trash. And he also will bring bags and things so that you can use those to pick up. You can social distance, wear your mask, and it's a project that you can do during the pandemic, and it's a project that's very, very popular. We've utilized Solve both for our youth programs as well as our apartment complexes and Home Forward, low-income apartments, as well as working with just, community members that just want to get involved and help keep their community clean. So Solve is one way that you guys can come together as neighbors and work together to clean up your neighborhood. Also in Portland, and I don't know about Troutdale, there's a new program that was developed about 4 or 5 months ago called Adopt a Block. And that one also is picking up a lot of momentum, and folks are signing up to adopt a block to clean, and not necessarily a block in their neighborhood, but it's also expanded to the downtown Portland area and all around the city to just help keep the trash and stuff picked up and cleaned around Portland. So moving on to the Portland Bureau of Emergency Preparedness. We also partner with quite a few of our city bureaus. Portland Bureau of Emergency Management is one of the bureaus we partner with, as well as Portland Bureau of Transportation, Oregon Department of Transportation, and Solve is one of them that we partner with. And so we've been really, really working collaboratively with all these different organizations to help prepare communities like yourself to be prepared when there's a natural disaster. And like Stacy was mentioning, we've experienced, not only are we still in the middle of a pandemic and looking at COVID restrictions that have been implemented by the governor. Whenever our COVID counts go up, the restrictions get a little tighter. And then once our COVID counts go down, our governor is good at kind of, easing off on some of the restrictions. But we've also experienced, last year we experienced wildfires, and, a lot of those wildfires were very close to Clackamas and around the Portland area. We've also experienced snowstorms, power outages. So fortunately, we've been very fortunate that we haven't experienced too much flooding because we're not getting a lot of rain. So this is one of our trainings that we will go into a little bit more deeper. So why prepare for an earthquake? You need to be prepared for anything. In Portland, we don't get a whole lot of earthquakes, but a big earthquake can happen. Someday it will. It will cause strong ground shaking lasting up to 5 minutes or so. So it is important to know what to do during an earthquake and how to keep your loved ones safe. What should you do during an earthquake? You want to drop, cover, and hold on. Basically, if you're in a home, you want to just hold onto a table or a desk. I'm sure you all know this and you've practiced this since we've been children. Hold onto a desk until the ground stops shaking. If there's no table or desk nearby, sit on the floor against an inside wall away from windows and tall furniture. If you're in bed, just stay there in bed, curl up, and cover your head with a pillow. If you're in a wheelchair or you are living with people that have disabilities or in wheelchair, stay in it and make sure they move to an interior wall if they can. Lock your wheels and cover your head with your arms. Kitchen, same way. You want to move away from cupboards and multi-story buildings, theaters, or stadiums. You want to drop and get on the floor and get on the ground, but always cover your head with your hands. Let's get personal. So we're going to talk about identifying some of these potential hazards. When you're in your home, the things that you want to be aware of are your hot water heater. You want to be sure that you know how to be able to get to your hot water heater and turn it off. Also, you want to be able to make sure that you have latches on your locking cabinets so that you can make sure that things are not falling out of the cabinets, hitting the floor, or hitting you in the head. Those are things that you want to make sure of. Also, there's pictures and things on the wall that you want to make sure that don't fall off the wall or that you don't get hit with those things as well. So you always want to make sure that during just making sure that you're preparing for an emergency, that you're just aware of things like that. Just heavy objects on low shelves so they don't fall, placing your bed away from windows so items and glass don't fall on you, and just knowing that the location of your main electrical switch so you can turn the power off. And also just keeping a special wrench so you can turn off the water near your gas meter in the case of an emergency. Who's relying on you? For toddlers and school-age children, it's always good to have them pack a little pillowcase and store it under their bed. Make sure they have shoes, gloves, a jacket, shirt, pants, and food, water, snacks, something that they can grab right under their bed, put on, and be able to get out of the house safely. Pets, again, you want to make sure you have plenty of water for pets, food, dog and cat food, their license. You want to take pictures of your pets with you in the picture. So in case an emergency, if you get lost from your pet and you can't find your pet, there's a way that, if you have pictures of your pet so that you can be able to identify your pet. Also, I know that there's identification that goes under their skin now, that you want to make sure that your pet is up to date with, vaccinations, license, addresses where they live. I have a dog myself, and I know that he's getting vaccinated this month, and I keep all his vaccination records in a safe place, along with documents that I have as well. Folks that might be immobile or in a wheelchair or have a disability, you want to make sure that they're able to get out and that they're able to have extra medication or things that they might need, such as, prescriptions, cash or money on them, or whatever they might need to be able to get out safely and in a safe place. So you want to make a plan. Do I know my neighbors? How about my communities? You want to, Portland is on a river, it's on the Willamette River, the Columbia River. So there is separation. If you're at work in downtown Portland and you live in another community such as Vancouver or across the river, you want to know you want to make sure that you have contacts and have authorized people who can pick up your kids from school. You want to know, what do you need? And then you also want to be able to have an out-of-state contact. And those folks are people that you trust, that you can trust, making copies of very important documents and sending it to those out-of-state contacts in the case of an emergency. And this just shows, your partner's work, where you work, your kids' school and home, and just being able to set up a plan where you can all meet up somewhere. Parks are good for meeting areas and communities, churches, community centers. Coming up with a plan as community members and as neighbors so that everybody knows where that meetup plan will be, or where that meeting places will be. So kids know where to go, spouses know where to go, community members know where to go, neighbors know where to go. So it's just identifying a place that is safe and that everybody can get to, and it's in an open area free of, falling buildings or crumbling walls or anything of that nature. You want to make basic for work and for your car. And this is not something, I don't want to overwhelm you guys with this and make you feel as if you have to run out and do all of this right away or tomorrow. You can just start doing this one day at a time and just building over the next 6 months. You want to just make sure you've got some, important items for your car. You can have a backpack in the back of your car. And then that backpack, you can just have a pair of shoes, some toiletries, a radio, some batteries, some water. In the back of my car, I have a little basket full of items. I have toiletries, I have disinfectant. I've got extra masks now that we're in COVID. So I have a package of masks. I have a pair of shoes. I have a towel. I have a blanket. And I just have a couple of bottles of water. And I do change the water periodically just to make sure that I'm keeping my water and food fresh. And the same with your home. You want to make sure that if you are storing food and water, that every 3 to 6 months you check on that water or eat the food and then replace that with fresh food and water. Home preparedness, where to store, how to acquire it economically, and where to store the stuff. If folks, under the bed is the first place to go, but if folks don't have a lot of money, I know that the Dollar Tree carries a lot of products that you can, buy for $1 and try to store those things. But the main thing is to store things under your bed. You want to have a hard hat, shoes, canister of water, gloves, and just items that you can put on immediately just to get yourself to safety. Same with your children, same with folks that are living in your home and that are close to you. The number one priority is water. So you want to have 1 gallon per person per day for at least 14 days. So this just shows different ways how you can store the water. You can buy the water and store it, or you can store it yourself in your water heater. And then also there's places if you have a place in your backyard, or you have a garage, or you have a basement, or those areas where you can store water and safely store water, those are the different options that you can use to store water. And then also the number 2 priority is food. We don't, I know with the wildfires last year, some people were, mislocated from their home for a week to 2 weeks to a month. Some people lost their entire home. So it's good to just have some canned foods that you can just open and eat out of the can. If you don't have stove or a place of cooking, you just want to have things that are easy to access, easy to cook, and easy to eat and have access to food. And you want to make sure that you are storing enough food to last you again, a couple of weeks. Number 3 priority is shelter. Just being, having a tent. I know we have a lot of areas around Portland where we can go camping, skiing, to the beach. And so having a tent, sleeping bags, tarps, blankets, games for children, and just things that can occupy yourself and your family while you wait to get back into your home, or if you're misplaced permanently and relocated, then you want to be able to have somewhere where you can camp and eat and stay safe until you find stable housing. Number 4, just having other supplies. Again, having a can opener, blankets, sleeping bags, things that keep you warm, tarps to put over people, first aid kits, knives, flashlights, whistles, and just identifying also in your community, knowing who's in your community, knowing your neighbors, and also knowing that who does what. For example, if you have doctors in your neighborhood, if you have nurses, if you have a plumber, if you have a technician, identify people that have different jobs and do different things, so that in the case of an emergency, you can call on people that have different skill sets that can help during that emergency. So a lot of data says that you won't be rescued by a police officer or fireman. Most likely the person who's going to rescue you is going to be your neighbor or a stranger. So it's just good to know your neighbor, and it's good to have plans around who does what. You want to also make sure you have cash money in case the ATM and the internet is down. So you want to have some cash on you. You want to make sure you have medication, prescription medication, and enough medication to get you through at least a couple of weeks in a month. You want to make copies of very important documents like birth certificates, marriage certificates, social security cards, insurance policies, pet information for pets, for your children. You want to make sure that all those you got copies of that. You can also send those copies out of state to a trusted person, someone that you trust, or a family member, in case you lose those documents. But you also want to keep those documents sealed and in a really safe place, such as a safe, a plastic bag. I have a plastic bag that I keep all my documents in, and then I also have a locking safe that all my documents are in. So in case of a fire or anything, that I know that my safe will not be destroyed in a fire. So all my documents and important paperwork and jewelry are in that safe. These are just some options. Like I said, if you have a basement, you can just put them on a shelf in the basement. If you have a garage, you can do a garage. You can also go out to Home Depot and you can buy storage bins or garbage cans where you can store these in a garage or outside your home. But basically just making sure that you have some type of area where you're able to put these items and store items. For me personally, I have a garage and I've got some things in plastic. I went to Lowe's and bought some plastic bins, and I have 2 plastic bins in my garage with food, water, and emergency items. So don't panic. Stuff is easy. Again, just make a plan, start small, talk with your family and neighbors, start to build your home kits, and then learn to shut off your utilities. That's really, really important to learn how to go outside. They have special wrenches where you can turn off the water. You need to know how to shut off your water heaters, shut off your gas. Those things are really, really important to learn. And also, if you are interested in organizing your community as a net team, we have folks that can come out and get you organized as such. So again, publicalerts.org. Public alerts, you want to sign up. All you do is go to public alerts .org and sign up. I'm sure most of you are probably already signed up, but this is just a great way to stay in the know of what's going on and what's happening. I know with the wildfires last year around the region and around the state, I'm signed up with public alerts both in Vancouver, Washington, where I live, and in Portland. So I'm getting alerts all the time. I was getting public alerts all the time on my phone regarding the fires, and also just getting public alerts and just being in the know so you know what's going on and what's happening in case you need to evacuate. Other trainings at the Portland Bureau of Emergency Management is they do have basic earthquake emergency communication node, and that's the beacon. And then also you can find out your nearest beacon to you with the, and you also can get a 90-minute training. So there's also additional readings on community resiliency workbook and prepare with your kids. The neighborhood emergency team net, it's good to be prepared to be self-sufficient for 2 weeks during any emergency. Again, folks from PBIM will come out and they're able to give your neighbors a training. If you choose to become a net team, it won't be us that come out and do the training, but it'll be an actual person from PBIM that will come out and do your training. For info in other counties, of course, there's the City of Vancouver Emergency Management, Clackamas County, and Washington County. So if you have any questions or you want to contact Regina, and Regina can come out, she'd be the one that will come out and do your net training, and that's her information. So if you guys want to write that down and follow up with Regina on coming together as a net team, that would be your contact person. And I'm not sure about Troutdale if you guys have emergency preparedness out in Troutdale, but you would want to contact that person and look into how to become a net team. We just want to say that, you know, we all have a role in making our communities safer. And so instead of watching our neighbors, we see them and we want to make our community safe together. We just want to thank you for taking the time to attend our training and want to ask if any of you guys have any questions. No questions? Any questions?
I have a quick question. Is there
Okay.
any charge for doing the NET program?
That's a good question. I don't think, I know that we've got, so what we have is we have the community, we have these workbooks that we can give you guys. So we've got like 50 of the community workbooks for the power of emergency and disaster preparedness. And I'm not sure how much they charge them out and do your training. Do you know, Stacy, if there's a charge?
I don't think there's a charge. And some of the people on that team are also volunteers,
Right.
but we can double check with Regina and I can get back to you about that. So as Mary mentioned, we have these workbooks that we picked up, these community resilience workbooks, and we can drop them off at a location out in Troutdale, depending on how many you need. If you want to, it has the same information that Mary went over, but it's a very colorful, comprehensive book with lots of information.
Could we have access to both of your PowerPoint presentations?
Yes, I can send it to you.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Are you guys interested in getting any of the workbooks for your group?
Go ahead.
Can you drop them off at City Hall?
Oh, are you City Hall in Troutdale?
Or mail them? I don't know, that's much money.
Yeah, we can drop it off there. Are there just regular office hours, and how many do you need?
And is it open? Is your city hall open? Because our city hall is closed.
I think there was a COVID incident. I think
Yeah, I'm
it closed.
not 100% sure on our city hall at the moment. I know it was, closed for quarantine for at least a
Okay.
week. I'm not sure if it's reopened. So I can definitely keep you all updated on if it's open or not. I have both your emails so I can contact you. But yeah, I don't know how many you all want.
Yeah, I can, and also I can drop them, we can drop them off at someone's house on the porch where we don't even come in. We can put them in a little box or a paper bag and just bring them to someone's address and leave them on the porch. If that's easier.
Yeah, you could drop them at our house, or we could pick them up somewhere too. I mean, if people are interested, maybe I should get back to you about that. I could email you. I
Okay,
really appreciate the offer.
okay, sounds good.
And since the chat function wasn't chat box wasn't working, we have a couple evaluations. We have our demographic survey and our training evaluation and other information in the PowerPoint that I can put in a separate email, if that's okay.
Yeah, you can send it all to me and I'll distribute it to all the CAC members.
Great. Thank you very much. Well, it's a pleasure being here tonight. Nobody has questions?
Yeah, so.
Okay.
Yes, I have a question. On the survey, there, number 2 is the track it number. Is there a special number we should be putting in on the Survey Monkey?
Oh no, that's we usually internally we track our trainings and we can put it in that number later. We don't
Okay.
have a track it number right now.
Okay, good. Thank you. No, thank you very much for taking the time to come out and help us. Do either of you have one thing that as you presented this, you found is really the most helpful that people seem to connect with in the topics that you've covered tonight? What stands out?
I would probably say right now with the pandemic, I would just probably say that the social isolation and getting resources to folks that are socially isolated that can't get out and might be vulnerable, that has really stood out because folks have had, there's folks in the neighborhoods that are elderly or haven't been out and haven't been able to get food. That has really stood out, and we've been very instrumental in helping neighbors navigate how to support and help their neighbors.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Stacy, do you have anything that comes to mind?
I think for me, a lot of people, when we're doing these trainings, they want to hear what the community is doing to help their neighbors and help people. So I think the storytelling aspect and just telling stories about different communities, either in East Portland or somewhere else, people resonate with that and they feel more engaged when they hear those type of stories.
Good, thank you. I imagine it's very encouraging to everyone. Thank you both so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you both very much. Really appreciate you coming tonight. I think it's been very informative, and yeah, we'll let Heidi know how many of us would like those, and hopefully she'll get that over to you. Really appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank
Yeah,
you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Nice
thank
to meet
you. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Good work. Thank you, Heidi, for helping set that up for us. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Any thoughts or comments on that? Diane?
The information was, it got me thinking, a lot of stuff I haven't even thought of, emergency preparedness. We've already had the fires of the gorge, and then we've had the fires last year. And so this just reminds me that this is good information to share with our community. Have you thought, and I don't know, again, if the video is, I really like those presentations. I don't know if that's something we can make available to the to the public as well.
I can ask them when they email, the survey and everything.
Yeah, because it really touched my heart. I have a little rental, and I lost a renter last week that died. He had fallen down, and nobody knew about it for a couple of days. He was so dehydrated that when he was finally taken to the hospital, he died the next day. I had looked by, checking her once in a while to see if lights are on, just to, because I'm knowing that he's elderly, but, I mean, this is something for everybody to think about, what's going on with your neighbors, make contact, remind them, if you're in need of something, here's my phone number, so it just got me thinking about a whole bunch of things, especially with the COVID and the isolation and people not maybe thinking to ask people for help if they need help, or, but that starts with us making connections. So it just got me thinking about a lot of things, emergency preparedness and my community, and not thinking about me and my family. I mean, that's just personal for me, but I think it's great information to share, and I really did like the presentation. Thank you, Heidi. I thank you a lot for bringing that, giving us more information on those subjects.
Good idea, Diane. Wondering, Amber, if we might be able to take this portion of the meeting in the video that's recorded and add that to our page potentially with links like, hey, here's a train, whatever that was, 45 minutes or so maybe of training for 3 different topics. I mean, I don't know, is that something you guys want to pursue? To have that, basically that video available that anybody can watch at any time.
Potentially, I would definitely want to ask the presenters to make sure that was fine, to share. And I don't know if the way it records it, if there's a way to shorten the video or not. I could see though. I'll definitely ask them.
Because the PowerPoint was nice, but the things they elaborated on were a lot of things that supported each topic that they were that was on their presentation. So that they really offered a lot more nuggets to that conversation.
And I know it'd be courteous to ask them for their approval, however, being a public meeting, I think probably owns it now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we always post the audio recording of every meeting, so that would certainly be available. We just don't usually share the recording, I think, because of bandwidth or something like that, I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's really good. Any other comments or thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, how should you want to email me if you want one of those things? Or I don't know how to organize that exactly. I mean, you could just tell me and I could write your name down.
Yeah, maybe a quick hand raise for who I'd like one. I'll pick one.
1, 2, 3, 4. I can't see everybody though. Who's it? Is anybody raising their hand that's not on screen?
Victoria and Chris as well.
I just asked for 15.
Okay, well, what is it we're talking about?
7. Okay, so I got 7, yeah? Is that right? Plus me, 8. Alexander.
I can share yours.
No, I didn't count you.
Okay.
All right, I'll ask for 8. And then the other thing, does anybody want to follow up with, or maybe you need to think about it first, but like, I thought that litter cleanup thing was kind of cool. Like maybe we could do some kind of day where we got together and picked up litter. Or some, was there anything else that you wanted to follow up on? Maybe this summer we could throw a block party.
Related to that, Solve has a number of litter removal events in the area every summer, every year. So we might want to connect and see if they're already doing something. We could just join with them.
Cool.
Another interesting thing that I saw was that neighborhood emergency team. I might just reach out and find out about that. It's kind of, I was thinking if there was an earthquake in my little section of the neighborhood, like, maybe there's a group of us that kind of live in that little dead-end area that might band together and help each other, sort of thing. Yeah, it's really good, very thought-provoking and good information. in the past, we have gone out at different events like Summerfest and whatnot to promote CAC and ask surveys and whatnot. I'm kind of out of the loop. Are there any confirmed Troutdale events happening yet this summer that we may have like that? We got those nice, I guess, bolsters, is that what they're called? Where you put them in the road and walk off the road. Saw those got installed. We haven't had a chance to use them yet.
As far as I'm aware, Summerfest is not happening this year. I know there's a first Friday scheduled for an upcoming month, but since Multnomah County has been going in and out of extreme and high risk, I'm not sure exactly where that's at.
I'm
I
not,
think,
my phone is not charging, but Fall Festival of the Arts, I think is still planning on going forward. That's the fall.
I think I read that the cruising was supposed to happen in August, the car event.
Where would somebody find out about First Friday if they're going to be doing that, or maybe Fall Festival of the Arts? Is there a certain place that people would go to find out about that?
Are you from, it used to be Donna Irwin, and I'm not sure now if it's Martha's Denim, or it might be the gallery. Yeah, I could check on that. Do you want to see if they're, what would the question be about what?
I guess it's more of just an overall, hey, as we essentially looking at, opening things back up at some point, wondering if there are any community events that are planned for Troutdale that are going to bring people back down into the city to get it for a festival or an art walk or whatever. And if so, where are we hearing about, that sort of news?
So what's First Friday people, that's what you wanted to know?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's the art community to the nonprofit.
yeah, I know, Marley Boxler, our economic development coordinator, has been doing a lot of work with the First Friday event. I'm not sure how involved she is with other events, but that might be one person you can reach out to, but I know for sure she's involved with it.
Cool, thank you. Appreciate that. Does anybody have any thoughts or comments about the training? Okay.
I just wanted to offer that the video that they showed today that had a Multnomah County logo on it. So I assume that's the county's video. And if it is, it should be on their website, or excuse me, their YouTube page, and just available for anybody to use as they see fit. Also, the county operates the county's Office of Emergency Management operates a pretty extensive website on earthquakes and tsunamis. And if you just were to Google that, I mean, they have emergency and evacuation kit lists that are made locally, family emergency plan templates from the state, home hazard hunt templates from FEMA. I mean, it's pretty. There's a lot of information on there as well. If anyone wants to read more about what's put on there, but anyway, I just want to offer that to folks.
You said that was the county website?
Yep.
County?
If you Google Multnomah County Emergency Management earthquake, it'll bring you to an emergency preparedness site, and that will you can click on earthquakes or any of the other disasters that are listed there, wildfires, pandemics, floods, and they have a series, whole host of resources.
Excellent. Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead, I guess, move back then to the minutes. I will open it up for discussion. I was not at the meeting. I apologize for not being able to make it last month. But I will let you guys chime in and fix the minutes from the meeting. And also, with a screen share, I can only see a handful of people, so feel free to jump in if you have something that you want to get added or change. Would anyone like to start off? And if it looks good to you guys, then we would call for a vote to accept the minutes as written.
Are you making a motion?
No, I'm just suggesting the option. So we have on the table, if nobody has any, corrections.
I move we accept,
Hold on.
minutes as written.
If I may, for a second, I see Chris's hand over here, go for it, Chris. So, after glancing at page 2, where it shows the italics of what Paul Wilcox said, submitted there, okay? Then there's a thing below it that says, Mr. Barney commented that the minutes do not need to be changed to include Mr. Wilcox's comments on the incorrect assumptions because they do not reflect what was said at the meeting. I don't necessarily remember the meeting well enough, but I'm not sure I remember saying that specifically. I think I was confused because his comments seemed to be just restating what was in minutes for a previous meeting. Not that it's correct, but there was something else there. Okay.
So how would you like to see it revised then, or would you want, okay, then taken out, what would you like?
Maybe just that it seemed like it was a restatement of minutes that we already had, something like that.
Like a restatement of,
How do you want it? The restatement? Like, a restatement of, maybe it was minutes from the prior meeting, like, like, I guess I was confused because, like, like, if he says they're not corrections, and then it seems like he just pulled quotes from our previous minutes, so I guess I was confused, because it didn't seem to express any concerns that he may have had or whatever. Okay. So I guess just that it seemed like we stated the minutes from a previous meeting, or prior meeting, that works.
okay.
Great, thank you. Sorry, I didn't notice that.
That's okay.
Okay, anybody else have any other, suggested changes, corrections? We'll give it a beat here, and then we'll listen to Victoria again.
I move to accept the minutes as amended.
Is there a second? I'll second. Seconded by Chris. All in favor, raise a hand. Is there any opposition? Okay, opposition. All right, motion carries. Good work, guys. Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and skip back down to the session item E, drone operating standards.
Alrighty, so this is gonna be a lot quicker of an item than, we had originally planned. Unfortunately, some things came up, so we weren't able to get the presentation together in time. Good news, it'll be at your next meeting. But I can just, in case anyone is unfamiliar with the memo, I'll go ahead and, share it here. It was included in the packet. And so this way you guys can kind of get started thinking about it for the next meeting.
Are they planning to have deliveries from like Amazon or something?
Not that I've heard. I think they're, at least my understanding of what's in the memo is, they're trying to be proactive about it and, you know, before anything really starts happening, to make sure that if the city of Troutdale wants rules in place, that we get those in place. Yeah, so I've got the memo up here from Chris. So, you know, recently, like things with Amazon, potential deliveries, or, you know, people just on their own recreationally who have drones, there's been a lot more interest in them, for, yeah, it says here, commercial and recreational purposes. And this is also, we're starting to see this in Troutdale, so there might need to guys can think about it, or, you know, talk with others, to see what those in the community might think about it. You're free to begin the discussion a little bit now if you want, but we don't have that presentation available today.
I see a hand from Diane.
Okay, a question for the presentation that I would have, would be, in the past, there's been some drone usage of city events with the public there, and I am not sure, if you're catching other people's image, if that is something that, needs to be, approved of when used for advertising or campaigning. Now, I understand if you just like grab an image, you do a sweep, and then you're just using it for your private use, or your, you know, like kind of like as a photo or something like that, but when it's reused for purposes of promotion and such, what is the current standard, currently?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I know you mentioned in the beginning this is being proactive on it. Has there been any instances come up where there's been sort of complaints or a situation or a scene, or is this just completely being super proactive?
You know, that's a good question. I haven't been made aware of any of that, but, you know, it's possible that that's why it got brought up in the first place. I can see if that might be included in the presentation, if we have any examples, but, yeah, not that I've heard of.
Thank you. Heidi?
So my cousin does this in California. He started a business where he uses a drone to take real estate photos. And man, you can see details when they're on the internet. So that's the first thing I thought of when I read this memo. I was like, yeah, probably having a code of conduct is a good idea.
I think the Parks Department is thinking about using a drone for mapping the parks and other recreational areas around Troutdale as well. And while we're talking about the Parks Department, I'll throw out there that we had recently for Earth Day a cleanup of the parks. And because it was raining, of course, the not as many people showed as we would have liked, but certainly it's something that we'll be talking about scheduling another one of, and I'd be happy to pass that information along if any of you would like to volunteer.
Shelley, where would I find that information? I feel like I always miss the cleanup. I don't know how, like, out of the loop.
That's a really good question, because I got it because I was on the Parks Advisory Committee. I don't know, Victoria, was it in the Champion by any chance?
Yeah, it was in the Champion. I think it was at the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
I remember.
But it rained and everybody was really unhappy. So there's still a lot of litter out there to pick up.
I do also receive the Champion, and I did miss that. However, I did find out that there was filming in town yesterday, so maybe we might suggest a Facebook page, or the city Facebook page, to promote some of those things. Any other thoughts or comments?
I didn't know this, and I'm on the Parks Committee, but I saw that they have a sign out for help at the pollinator garden.
We did hear about that. There's a sign, I think it.
Yeah, there's a sign up on Troutdale Road that I noticed today. So there's another thing we can help. They need volunteers.
Maybe during your comments, could you, at the end of the meeting, could you share what that is?
I was driving. I just saw pollinators on, and then I saw Tim's name on it.
Okay, any other thoughts or comments on drones at this point? Kyle.
I've actually just started seeing drones. I was walking up and down Hensley and just was, what is that buzzing? And looked up and thought, oh, that's a thing now. So I don't necessarily have a strong preference for or against it. I will say though that when I was working communications years ago, the way that we were instructed by the county when we were taking photos at events was that if you capture somebody that is in public, that person doesn't necessarily have any, I guess, expectation to privacy, since you're at a public event, you're in a park, you're on the street, on a sidewalk. It's not like it's not inside somebody's home, for example, although certainly I agree, Heidi, that those pictures have detail. So I guess if I'm being honest, that freaks me out a little bit, but I mean, other than that, I have no real opinion on drones, but I just wanted to share that experience.
Don't pick your nose when you see a drone.
David?
Well, I wanted to follow up on Victoria's comment a little bit earlier. Thinking toward the future, I think commercial applications and deliveries, everybody keeps talking about them, is going to have to take some serious consideration, because if that becomes a thing, I see it as a problem, because it'd be like trying to regulate airplane traffic. And should there be lanes that these things travel in over the air above our homes? Questions that come to mind is, how big are they? How much noise do they make? Is there a size restriction? And how high do they fly? Because next to Sunrise Park here, we're somewhat on a landing for Portland's airport. So there needs to be a elevation limit that they can't go above to keep from interfering in flight traffic. So commercial uses to me is a big discussion, and I think needs more thought. Noise and size are, I think, will be huge for people who reside here. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Anyone else with a comment? Question? I'll give it another quick sec here, then we'll move on to C, committee sizes. And seeing none, let's go ahead and turn it over to Amber for the next topic.
All right, so I know this has kind of come up before. We've had it on our agenda to discuss the potential for the size of, or the amount of members on the CAC to change. It's come up again, and this time, not necessarily just the CAC, but considering all of the city committees. I can let you know there was 25 open positions for committee recruitment and only 16 applicants. So, I mean, it is nice that there's people who are, able and willing to do multiple committees. That's great, but, that's not necessarily the turnout we would hope for. Generally you want to have as many people involved as you can. So the outreach has fallen a little short. We're not quite getting, the numbers of turnout that we would hope for. And I recognize that COVID is a little bit more difficult to do, outreach. Summerfest wasn't an option this past year, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But since, this is the CAC, Citizen Involvement Committee, we want to be able to get as many people involved as we can. So I wanted to bring up the conversation again about, where we're at, since we're not getting all the amount of people that we would like to see for these committee positions. And so do we want to keep moving forward with the same people on multiple committees, or should the committee sizes be made smaller to fit more of the turnout that we're receiving? There was, I believe, 3 open spots for 3 terms that were up for CAC, and we did get 4 applicants. But there was one board that hasn't been filled yet. I'm not sure if they'll extend applications or anything, and that was the Public Safety and Equity
Heidi, and then Victoria.
I think in your staff comments, you mentioned like addressing the term limits. I know for me, committing to 3 years is a little scary. And I wonder if, don't laugh at me, I have commitment issues. But I wonder how critical having that long-term commitment is, or if having a year long would bring more people in. Just an idea.
Victoria.
I personally think we should keep the committees the same size. I'm on multiple committees. I don't mind, and I've also found that it helps me on other committees to have been on other multiple. It makes a better understanding of things. Like it's the COVID thing too. I mean, nobody got out to be able to try and recruit. I think people don't read a lot in the Champion. I think sometimes it just gets thrown away. It might be better next year, I hope. But I think having, especially this committee 11, we all live in different neighborhoods. We're all able to represent different parts of Troutdale. And I just think it's really good that we can do that.
Again, I think a lot of it has to do with, like you're saying, the dissemination of information. I would still love to see some sort of grand post or advertisement or whatnot of what the new committee is, what some of their topics are going to be, why somebody should be interested in joining and participating in that. I don't think I've really seen an official like, hey, we're doing this.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm shocked because when we had Public Safety Committee, that was always the most popular committee. So I'm really shocked that we didn't get enough for that one.
And, again, I think it would be a great, opportunity to be able to, use some of these different social media, ways, Facebook and whatnot, to promote some of that. And then I believe also when we reviewed this before, a lot of the positions were ones where you're going to have to go on recruit, because they had very specific, people that they were trying to stakeholders that they were trying to find to fill those positions. And I'm wondering with COVID and being such a new committee, if they really developed a good way to target the people they're trying to track or trying to find for those positions. That might be another good, question is, hey, really, with everything going on, this year being 1 year into COVID, how has that really impacted our efforts in finding people and people interested in becoming involved?
I know Randy had it on Facebook, telling people that, that we had positions and you go to the website and apply and things. But I don't know how many people follow Randy on Facebook, so.
Diane?
I agree with, Rizzo, and we did discuss this a few meetings ago, the size that we have does bring more opportunity for different neighborhoods and different, knowledge bases of different areas to come together. I know in the past that, when there wasn't enough applicants, that it was just opened up, and I gave people, and other committee members another opportunity to try to get other people to join and become part of the community. And also, I do agree with you that it'd be nice to hear you doing a video in some exciting place in Troutdale. Because it's not personal. We're people who care, who live here, who love our community, and we're helping to represent the voice of the people. And it would be nice and exciting to see a 1-minute video from some real people that are a part of the committee. So maybe the chairs, talk a little bit, a person like the park should be in front of a park, because Imagination Station's exciting, Glen Auto Park's exciting next to the Sandy River. So there might be more opportunity visually to get people a little bit more excited and talk a little bit about what the commitment is. It's once a month, you know, you look at your material, we get some exciting topics to be part of the community and, you know, just let them know in case it's just fearful. It's like, oh, commitment, 3 years, you know, and I've never done that before. Oh, and it's at the police community building, you know, so let's personalize it and let people, you know, at least get a good introduction. And so then that video should be placed, because I know that the Facebook City of Troutdale site tells people over and over again when there's a council positions up in, you know, over and over and over, and it's said multiple ways. And so they probably did the same thing for these committees. So I think doing something different is a good idea.
It's a really good idea. Yeah.
Or like we could get a prison. You know, if there is a prison, if we find some things going on, we can personalize it and, you know, and have CAC members and just say, hey, do you want to be part of the city? Ask us what we do, you know, helping to represent you, you know, or whatever that might look like. Because the Summerfest, you guys had fun, and I wasn't able to do that one, and it went well, correct?
Yeah, it was a blast. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of surveys, gave away a bunch of candy, and then they brought out those emergency water bags. We got rid of like 4 cases of them, something ridiculous. Did I see Ken with a hand up? Go for it.
Hi. Yeah, I would hate to see too many changes made, especially to this committee. I feel like we've done a great job working together, sharing differing perspectives, and really coming to some very important and worthwhile conclusions. I do think we have an opportunity in terms of getting word out for committees and such. If you've ever tried to pull out onto Buxton Road in the morning, there are so many cars coming down into downtown, and we've got a number of locations there. The corner before you pull out across the overpass and such, where you know everybody is going to see whatever we put up there, and so I think we've got some opportunity there. Now, the next thing I'm going to say is will be a little shocking to some of you, because you probably picked up that I'm fairly fiscally conservative, but I think anyone who serves on a committee, at least their first committee appointment, should get a stipend of at least $30 a month, just to help make up and say thank you, and $1 a day for the time and effort put into that. I think that would really be a positive step, and maybe catch a few people, you know, attention a little bit. Anyhow, I have to leave now. Thank you all. Have a good night, and pleasure serving with you.
Thanks, Tim.
I agree. I think the printing a banner, I think that corner is really underused, that we could use that for a lot of different announcements. I know those banners can't be terribly cheap, but to throw up, you know, events coming up, we throw up Summerfest when Summerfest is happening, and to throw up recruiting for committee members probably wouldn't be that difficult.
Well, to Tim's point, even though it's only one night a week, it is a bit of an equity barrier for people who are struggling to volunteer for sometimes 3 hours a night, and then, you know, do a little prep work before you come. And I think if we want to incentivize people who don't have a lot of money to be on the committees, then maybe that would be a nice way to show appreciation. I don't know where the money would come from, but I think it's an interesting idea to consider. I know those banners are not cheap, so I don't know how we would do that either, but it's a good idea.
We could do that, and also provide the opportunity, though, for volunteers to waive that stipend if they don't need it.
Totally. I mean, or provide food and like childcare. Like that would be huge. If we just ordered a few pizzas and like hired a babysitter, that might be cheaper, but it would also help families, you know?
Kyle, did I see you have your hand up?
Yeah, I like everyone's ideas of thinking creatively during this pandemic where we're not able to do these in-person things. I think the video is a really good idea. I think utilizing the corners that are heavily trafficked, not only on Buxton, but on 257 before you go up the hill. I think that's really, I think those are really great ideas that y'all are suggesting. I think I would just also say that our biggest gap here was just not being able to be in person in places. I mean, videos are awesome, banners are awesome, but they're no substitute for in-person communication, shaking a hand, telling a story. Where do you live in town? Oh, you live down the street from me. That's really cool. And just making those interpersonal connections and being able to tell a story. This is what we did as a committee. I mean, in the absence of being able to do that, yeah, absolutely. Videos and banners are great. And it seems like we're approaching a point where perhaps we can be at a First Friday coming up soon. I know going to First Fridays hasn't really been a tactic used by us, but maybe we can bring that in, since there are not a whole lot of opportunities to be places in person. And I know the First Friday is going to be, after recruitment is done, so to speak. But I mean, that might be a way, if we get people thinking about it early, if we just show up in places like anywhere we can where it's safe to do so. I would advocate for that.
Heidi?
Should we have some kind of statement that says who we are and why we exist that we could easily communicate to people? I feel like, Diane, didn't you suggest that at one point? Somebody did.
We did it at Summerfest too. We had the.
Maybe it was you, Rizzo.
Yeah, we had the statement written out. We had it put up on a poster.
I think it was put on the banner.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
It was something.
On the banner.
What the heck was that statement?
Where's Kyle?
Bridging, it was on our shirts, wasn't it?
What's our motto?
What was our motto?
Find out what's going on and talk to people.
We had it on our t-shirts and we had it on our banner.
Building community and like bridging something, I don't know.
Bridging voices, building community, was that it? Something like that?
Okay, so, but I was thinking of more than just a motto, like.
Oh, no, on our poster, we had exactly what we did, what the committee did, what we've done in the past. I had some pictures up, I made a poster, we had like the garden and, what else? Oh, helping out with the toy drive. So, and then we had our total, what's that called? It's in our manual. Our statement, vision statement, whatever it is. We had that all up too, so. Yeah, it's just getting people to see it. I mean.
Is it on our website?
The statement?
It's on, under CAC.
I think it either is there or it was put on the draft for the website update. So if it's not there now, I believe it should be there when, so that it's completed.
Any progress on that?
We're still, reviewing the content to make sure that everything's, good to be put on the city website, to make sure there's nothing we're not allowed to put up for some reason. Our department has quite frankly been pretty slammed the past 2 months, so that has kind of slipped down the priority list a little bit, but I haven't forgotten. It is still on the to-do list.
Were we, tasked with having any sort of vote or anything on this, just more of a general discussion about this?
Just more of a general discussion. I think the feedback is super helpful. These are some really nice ideas, so it's good starting place at least for sure.
Yeah, I'd say if I were to summarize my thoughts on it, is just leave it the same as though for now, and then, really focus on outreach efforts and any way we can comments on this one, you guys? Okay. Well, I guess let's move on to, I believe it's, part of the board. Yeah.
Alrighty, so as you might have seen if you've been on it recently, the City of Troutdale website got a little bit of a refresh, go along with the branding, the new logos, new colors, that sort of thing. And there's also some new signage around town. I know I've seen one new City of Troutdale sign near the Eagle Ridge Apartments and the Cherry Park Safeway. So if you're driving in from, let's see, Gleason, to the Cherry Park, it's by my office, I'm not good with directions. But I know there's one there, and I think there's a few others, so, slowly but surely, the new branding is getting, put into more places, which is real fun. Some other updates from our departments, we are, currently recruiting for a new permit specialist. As I just said, our department, and especially our building division, has been super, super busy lately, so we're really excited to be able to be recruiting for this new position. It closes May 14th, if you know of anyone that might be interested in it. And then the final thing is the agreement for the Parks Master Plan has been signed. There's going to be a kickoff meeting to get that project underway early May. I'm not sure on the exact date, so it might have already happened. So, yeah, we're real excited about that too. And that's all I've got.
Any
Thank you.
questions? Heidi?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Did you say, is it the park along the confluence that got the okay? Or which part did you say got the okay?
The Parks Master Plan.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
You didn't mention our movie, our TV show.
Honestly, I don't know that much about the TV show. I saw like the news update that I think went out on the Facebook, and that's all I've seen from it. I haven't really been involved at all with that.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much, Amber. Appreciate it. Looking ahead, I know we mentioned the drone thing. Is there really anything else on our plate for next month at this point? Or does anybody have anything they'd like to add to the agenda?
I don't currently have anything. I always check with Chris to see if there's anything else coming up from City Council. I think so far it's just the drone thing. But yeah, I don't have anything else on here so far.
Okay. With that in mind, Alexander, go ahead.
I had another thought about the drone thing, and it seems like the increase in drone usage is growing pretty quickly. So I think that we should think about what we want from the drones in 5 years, and think about that as if it were now. But with David talking about traffic and what they might be carrying, they could be delivery drones. So how that impacts neighborhoods. But I think we should look ahead 5 years and see. We don't want to have to go back and change policies 5 years from now because it grew faster than we thought it would. So I think we should, just to keep that in mind, I think we should think about at least 5 years, what can happen with drones 5 years. They may be taking us to work in 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Good point. Is this expected to be a pretty meaty topic that would take up a full meeting sort of thing?
It could. I think it would also kind of depend, how much you all have to say about it. It sounds like from the discussion so far that you guys have a lot of thoughts, so I could see it being, enough for one meeting, but if there's, other things to keep it on the agenda, we can always, put it on there, and if we don't have time, we can get to the next meeting.
Sure. Okay. I was actually kind of more worried about the other thing. We had not have enough for a full meeting. If we needed, I think we're kind of running into.
Seems like it'll be enough, but
Perfect.
you never know.
It seems like something always gets added.
Something always gets added, yeah. All right. Hey, go ahead.
So where do we stand with the committee recruitment? Are you still actively recruiting people, or is that closed for now?
The committee recruitment, I believe, closed on Friday, or at the end of April.
End of April.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if they're
Oh, okay. I knew that you said you didn't get as many as you hoped to, so I didn't know if it was going to be extended because of that.
I believe, after sometime a year ago or so, was the big, writing of policy and the code and all that. So I believe if there's not enough people for that public safety and equity, I would imagine they would reopen the time period again, probably do a little more advertising, get the number of people to be recruited to apply.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the exact procedures, but yeah.
All right, thank you, Amber, appreciate everything. Any other questions for Amber? Okay, let's go ahead and, go to committee member comments. I guess we'll start on Zoom and then work our way around the room here. So Heidi, you're up. You're my first person in the window.
Do we have any tasks coming up? Do we have any? I guess I should have asked Amber in the official Ask Amber section, but I'd just be curious to know if we have anything to look forward to in terms of our raison d'etre. But also, hi everyone. I hope you're doing well. Goodbye.
All right, thank you, Heidi. Again, thank you so much for setting up those for us tonight. I think that was a really good addition to the meeting and very valuable information. So again, thank you. David.
I was a little surprised to hear Amber say that the contract for the Parks Master Plan has been signed, because the Parks Advisory Committee has done nothing on that project. And so I find myself in a quandary here between CAC and the PAC. And I don't know what to do about that. I mentioned it just so you're aware of it. I'll bring it up at the Parks Committee meeting, and we'll go from there. Other than that, I want to apologize for not being here last month. I had a personal operator error and could not find the login information at the minute I went to log in, and then it was too late. So I had to change the way I do things so I don't do that again. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you.
I think Shelley knows about the park, do you know?
David, I think, didn't they just sign the company that we all voted on to do that? I think they just signed the contract with the MIG. Was it MIG, Amber, that they signed with?
Yeah, isn't it just a company they signed with?
Yeah,
Yeah, the plan is not.
No, I think the only thing that was signed was they hired the company that we all decided should be hired to consult. So that's what the parks did.
Thanks, Shelley.
Mm-hmm. And I think they decided on MIG.
Okay, thank you, David. Alexander.
I don't have much. It's good to see you all. I like the presentation. Thank you, Heidi. I like the presentation a lot, and it's good for us all to remember that there is a simmering earthquake at some point. You don't remember because it doesn't happen. And with the wildfire, we didn't prepare until it was time to go, and 2 years ago, and then it's like, where are the saltines? So that was a nice reminder for me, and I enjoyed that. Anyway, so thank you all. I hope you have a great month.
Thank you, Alexander. Kyle.
Well, I just want to pile on my thanks also to Heidi for having the community safety folks come by. That was indeed a good presentation and informative. I did want to share some sad news with everyone. I am not going to be part of the CAC next year. So my last meeting is next month. I've decided to not renew, frankly, because I don't know if I'm going to be a Troutdale resident in a couple of months. So not going into too many personal details. I'm moving. I'm trying to stay in Troutdale, but as I'm sure you all are aware, the real estate market is not kind. So we'll see what I can find. But hopefully I can maintain my Troutdale residency and be back next year. But just wanted to share with you all, next month will be my last meeting. So enjoyed my time. I'll say more then, but until then, good seeing you all tonight.
Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, we're gonna
Sorry to
miss
see you go.
I know you shared some personal things with me. I'm excited for you and your next chapter, and I hope it all goes well for you. We're definitely gonna miss you. And again, man, if you just want to hop on the meetings and be a citizen, you're more than welcome to come hang out. We'd love to have you. All right, so Shelley.
Just a quick thank you to Heidi for making arrangements for the presentations tonight. And Kyle, you will definitely be missed. Thank you for all you've done for the city of Troutdale and this committee. And that's it.
Thank you, Shelley. Diane?
I ditto Shelley, and I want to say hi to everybody. I come to these meetings, well, because I have a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old living at my house. But the other reason is it is nice to be in a room and to physically see people. So I do appreciate that. And also, I want to let you know if you can say howdy to our new neighbors, Grateful Coffee and Flowers. They're a nice couple. They're at the north end of our downtown here. They're using, I think it's called Umbria Coffee. It's Italian. It's roasted in Portland, and it's lovely. The flowers are gorgeous there, and very nice people who live in Troutdale. So if you get a chance, go see. Oh, and I made a request, and they did it, which is really cool. They have some pastries from a French bakery called La Provence. So you can enjoy a really nice cinnamon roll with walnuts, and yeah, it's good stuff. I also said Joe's Donuts. I don't know if the apple fritter is going to come anytime soon, or if they're going to take me up on that suggestion. It's a long drive to Joe's Donuts. But anyway, good to see you all. You guys have a good month as well.
Thank you, Diane. Chris?
Yes, I would just say thank you to everyone, and Kyle, it's been a pleasure serving on the committee with you.
Thank you, Chris. Victoria?
I'll give my shout out to Heidi too. Thank you, Heidi, for doing that. And Kyle, I won't say goodbye to you till next month. And maybe you'll change your mind.
Okay, well, good. Yeah, great meeting you guys. Really informative. I'm glad to see everybody here in person. Along that note, with Kyle, also John Brown will not be renewing either. It's been increasingly difficult for him to attend the meetings just because his work schedule has been so crazy, and that he is also having to get off at 8:30, and he didn't feel like he was able to fully contribute in the way that he wanted to, so he decided for this time not to renew. Hopefully things will switch back around for him and he'll come back again in the future. Speaking of that, committee interviews are going to be on May 25th. I don't have too many details at all on it, other than the date and possibly time. I think 6 o'clock maybe. I don't even know if it's going to be Zoom or in person or hybrid. I suppose we'll find out more as things progress. And again, yes, I want to say thank you to Heidi, also Sandy for being here again tonight.
Yeah.
And yeah, Amber as well. Great job tonight. Appreciate everyone. Look forward to seeing you again in June. If not, hopefully around town, poking around somewhere. And with that, if there's any final comments from anyone,
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
including the public, Sandy or Paul,
Glad you
I
guys are.
motion to,
Motion to adjourn by Diane, is there a second?
second.
Seconded by Victoria, all in favor of closing? All right, any opposition? Seeing none, have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Good night, everybody.